Hey everybody! I don't know if you noticed, but I've been kinda into this game called Deep Rock Galactic. Maybe you saw, made a couple videos about it. You might have been able to tell, if you watched very carefully, that I really enjoy the game. But this video is going to be a bit different, because I'm actually here to complain about the game a bit. Now I know that to many, this will come as a great shock, and it will feel like a betrayal of everything that I've stood for. Just rest assured that this is only a very minor complaint. This all started because I've been playing a lot of Engineer recently, and I spotted a gold mine of potential. But I've been frustrated because the developers seem to have glossed right over it, and I don't want to make assumptions about their reasonings, I don't want to jump to conclusions, it just feels like they've missed out on an opportunity. Now for you NG mains, this probably doesn't narrow it down very much. A couple overclocks might come to mind that are super cool conceptually, but the way that they're balanced, it makes it so that they're really difficult to use or they're just not that optimal. But I'm not here to talk about overclocks right now. Maybe someday, but not now. I'm here to talk about a single upgrade for one of Engineer's weapons. One of the final two upgrades for the Warthog shotgun, Turret Whip. For those of you that don't play Engineer, Turret Whip lets you shoot your turret with your shotgun to supercharge it. Immediately after being supercharged, it will fire an overloaded shot at whatever it is currently shooting at. This overloaded shot deals more damage than usual, has an area of effect, and causes fear. Sounds like a sweet deal, right? Well, in practice, it just doesn't deliver. The particle and sound effects make it seem like this devastating, massive, high-impact shot. But when you're actually using it, it all feels hollow. It's just bells and whistles. It doesn't really deliver on what it seems like it should be. For the longest time, I didn't understand why I felt this way about this upgrade. Was my build wrong? Was I just not good at using it? Was the upgrade just bad? None of that felt right to me. I needed something to empirically prove what was wrong with it. And so, I did something I never thought I would do. I did math. Before I begin breaking down the results of my study, I feel that there's something that I should explain first. In Deep Rock Galactic, ammo management is a really important part of gameplay. You need to make sure that your ammo is being used effectively, and this ties into a concept that I am going to call, for the sake of this video, ammo cost. Essentially, every enemy has a certain amount of ammo that's required to kill them. The goal of combat in Deep Rock Galactic, and most first-person shooters, is to spend as little ammo as possible while killing as many enemies as possible. So, you want to evaluate the ammo cost of whatever you're about to shoot. Sure, you could use 20 shotgun shots to take care of those glyphids, or you could just use one shot from the grenade launcher and take care of them all. So what does all this have to do with Turret Whip? An overcharged shot from the turret uses up 10 turret ammo. Now let's start diving into this math. That means that a Turret Whip shot costs 10 sentry ammo and 1 shotgun ammo, since you have to shoot the turret to fire the shot. Now, some of you might already be starting to see where this goes wrong. But in Turret Whip's defense, a normal sentry shot does 6 damage without any upgrades to damage. So 10 bullets from a sentry deal 60 damage. The overcharged bullet deals 120 damage, which is double the damage that 10 bullets would normally do from a sentry gun. So what's the problem with this? Well, we're forgetting all about the shotgun shot. You see, a shotgun with no modifications to damage or pellets deals 56 damage. That means that if you combine the 60 damage that 10 sentry bullets would normally do with that 56 damage, it deals a total of 116 damage. That is only 4 more than a Turret Whip shot. Oh, but don't you worry, it gets even worse for Turret Whip. You may have noticed that I pointed out that's the damage that unmodified turrets and the unmodified shotgun do. When you factor that in, things start to look even worse and Turret Whip becomes less and less appealing by the second. Let's break this down. Switching off the Gemini modification to the LMG Mark II increases the damage that each bullet does by 2. Bringing the total of 10 sentry shots from 60 to 80. Now this is still outperformed by Turret Whip, but not by that much. Then you throw the mod Defender System into the mix. This increases the damage of each individual shot by 5, bringing 10 sentry shots from the Gemini from 60 to 110, and the LMG Mark II to 130, already beginning to outperform Turret Whip. Now it's time we add the shotgun into the mix. Let's take all the different damage numbers that the sentry gun could do with its mods, and let's add the shotgun damage on top, which is 56 damage. Now, I'm going to admit here, I'm being a bit generous to the shotgun. This is assuming that every single pellet connects. But of course, this is the shotgun without any modifications. There's the loaded shells mod, which adds more shells per individual shot, and there's also the bigger pellets mod, which adds 1 damage to each of the individual pellets. Factor in loaded shells, and the shotgun now deals 70 damage per shot. Factor in bigger pellets, and it does 64 damage per shot. Let's add these numbers on top of the turret damage and have a quick comparison here. Now, there's a lot of numbers going on here, but just at a quick glance you can tell pretty easily that not a single one of these is lower than turret whip damage. Turret whip is at best outperformed and at worst completely left in the dust by these upgrades. Why would you invest the time and ammo into turret whip when you could just be doing way better with different upgrades? So now what? What was the point of all that math, of all these numbers, of all this stuff? I don't really know, to be honest. This isn't the kind of problem that can be solved easily. Now, I know it might seem like it's an easy fix. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, why don't they just lower the ammo cost and raise the damage? But there's more to it than that. Now, personally, what I think the solution is to lower the ammo cost. You don't even need to touch damage, just lower the ammo cost as a start. The next thing that I would suggest is increasing the area of effect. Giving it the ability to take out multiple enemies in one go would be a great improvement. Next up is the fear status effect. This is not very useful for this turret to have. You want to be keeping enemies in front of the turret, you don't want to be scaring them away. I think that a great replacement for a status effect would be electrocution. It slows enemies down and deals some damage over time. The best way to handle turret whip is to have it do very low damage over time, but to have the slowdown be greater. This will be helpful in keeping enemies in the line of sight of the turret by the time it recharges, and it will also punish players for playing more aggressively, encouraging a more defensive strategy, which I think would work great with this build. There are some other options for changes as well. You could reduce the AoE almost entirely, making it a great single target damage weapon. This would work really well with a shotgun ammo build, where the shotgun focuses on taking out a bunch of smaller enemies, and the turret can focusing on taking down larger or priority targets. Another change that could be made is that turret whip's damage could be calculated based on the damage your shotgun does, combined with the damage of your turrets. Of course, this change might not work as well, because a higher damaging shotgun would cause turret whip to do more damage, but the high damage shotgun builds don't really work well with turret whip. You want to be saving that ammo for larger targets, so it doesn't make sense to bring turret whip along. That's about all the changes I can think of right now. What I think is most important is not implementing the changes that I suggested, but having a discussion in the community. I made this proof because I was really struggling with turret whip and I wanted real tangible evidence on my side when I brought it forward into the discussion. Now I think we can all agree that Engineer has some bigger issues to deal with right now, at least in terms of balance. But I think that this isn't something we should gloss over so quickly. So let's get this conversation rolling. Do you think I was right and that turret whip could use a fix? Do you think that I didn't go far enough and that turret whip needs to be thrown in the garbage can forever and then set on fire and then thrown into the sun? Do you think that turret whip is completely overpowered and that I'm a complete idiot who overlooked something glaringly obvious? Let me know. I want to know more about turret whip and I want to get better at using it. That being said, thank you very much for watching. I got more Deep Rock Galactic content coming down the pipeline, so I hope that you'll like, subscribe, or whatever it is you want to do to keep me in mind and stay tuned for updates. It's been a real pleasure making this video, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one. See ya!